I found out he was cheating, so I made a surprising change that transformed my life. Emily sat in her tidy living room, the scent of baked lasagna lingering in the air, an inviting aroma that typically brought her children joy. But today, the weight of unshakable dread pressed on her chest. Her husband, Jason, had left his phone unattended, buzzed repeatedly, and in a moment of weakness, she had taken a peek. What she found twisted her insides, their perfect life a mere facade. Words she never wanted to read spilled across the screen like poison. How could Jason betray her with careless texts? She felt as if the color had drained from her world. The betrayal shattered her picture-perfect life as whispers of doubt filled her mind. How could the man she loved, who promised forever, become a stranger? Every family dinner they shared felt hollow. Laughter became a ghost haunting their home. The very values she believed they stood for crumbled under the weight of his choices. What now? Could she confront him, or would it be another moment that snatched away her power? Paralyzed, she wrestled with her emotions, swaying between anger and despair. Teaching young minds had come naturally, but in her own life, she felt like a child lost without a compass. She would need strength, but where to find it? Desperation led her back to a childhood passion long buried beneath responsibilities: painting. With reluctant ease, she reached for the brushes she had not touched in years. Each stroke guided her restless spirit, unlocking emotions she forgot existed. Her grandmother's laughter echoed in memories of wild colors on canvas, the joy of creation. Could this be her escape, her fight back? Before long, social media began to buzz with admiration. It seemed strange, sharing art that had been born from anguish rather than joy. But the adrenaline surged through her as invitations for exhibition started rolling in, each a tiny light flickering against her despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. But with each new opportunity came an avalanche of fear. Did she dare abandon her teaching career, give up the comfort of a paycheck? Could she provide for her children through this leap into the unknown? Emily envisioned their faces, the laughter, the safety, a life she would shatter by breaking free. Days dragged on while conflict raged inside her, a storm unable to quell. Standing before her finished paintings, vibrant and raw with emotion, she felt the tension of confronting Jason build. What would she say? Could their marriage mend? As the night of her gallery opening approached, she felt the heaviness of her choice drape over her like a shadow. Would he stifle her rebirth, or would her transformation garner his respect? She clutched the edges of the canvases, muscles taut and heart racing. The conversation that loomed was inevitable. It could either reshape her life or hold her prisoner in the remnants of their broken love. The tension tightened, leaving her breathless as the day drew closer. She was ready to unveil not just her art, but her very self, and the scars would become her strength. The evening of the gallery opening arrived like a storm brewing on the horizon. Emily stared at her reflection in the mirror, adjusting the collar of her dress. Would Jason be proud? Would he even show up? The questions churned in her mind, each one heavier than the last. The once joyful anticipation of unveiling her art now felt like a tightrope walk with the abyss of uncertainty below. Each brushstroke had not only revealed her inner turmoil, but also instilled a newfound determination. As she navigated the crowd that filled the small gallery, warm light casting vibrant shadows on her paintings, she mentally prepared herself. The room pulsed with energy, each conversation a blurred backdrop to her thoughts. She had painted her pain, but no one knew the true story behind the colors that dripped with emotion. In one corner of the gallery, Emily spotted Jessica, a fellow teacher turned art enthusiast. Jessica's eyes shone with excitement as she approached, gripping a glass of wine. "Your work is stunning, Emily. You're so talented. This piece," she pointed to a canvas swirling with dark blues and fiery reds, "it speaks volumes." "Thanks, Jess," Emily replied, a nervous smile cracking her facade. "I appreciate it." But as the praise washed over her, her gaze wandered. Where was Jason? The unspoken threat of his absence loomed large, suffocating any joy she should have embraced. Did her husband even care to see her passion materialize before an audience? She felt a twist in her gut, anxiety spiking like the sharp edge of a new canvas awaiting a brush. After an hour trickled by, with more attendees flocking to admire her work and affirm her bravery, Emily's resolve began to waver. She needed closure from Jason, a conversation that loomed like a question mark behind every compliment and praise. Would he acknowledge the transformation she had undergone, or simply see another reason to shy away? Finally, as if summoned by her thoughts, Jason walked through the door. His presence had a magnetic pull, but doubt clawed at her heart. Was he here for her, or was this yet another obligation he endured? His eyes scanned the room, finally locking onto hers, and in that moment, a storm of emotions surged within her. She fought the urge to confront him on the spot. Not now, not here amidst guests who marveled at her triumph. She needed to channel her fears productively, like every vibrant hue on her canvases. Nevertheless, the sight of him standing amidst the crowd made her internal conflict skyrocket. "Are you all right?" Jessica asked, breaking her train of thought. Emily blinked, forcing a nod as she realized the weight of opportunity mirrored the weight of her fears. Just as she turned to say something to Jessica, Jason approached. His face was inscrutable, but the vulnerability of the moment surged through her. "Are you all right?" Jessica asked, breaking her train of thought. Emily blinked, forcing a nod as she realized the weight of opportunity mirrored the weight of her fears. Just as she turned to say something to Jessica, Jason approached. His face was inscrutable, but the vulnerability of the moment surged through her. "Are you all right?" Jessica asked, breaking her train of thought. Emily blinked, forcing a nod as she realized the weight of opportunity mirrored the weight of her fears. Just as she turned to say something to Jessica, Jason approached. His face was inscrutable, but the vulnerability of the moment surged through her. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly, pulling her aside from the bustling guests, the laughter fading to a distant hum. The gallery faded from her mind as adrenaline surged through her. This was the moment, the conversation she had both longed for and dreaded. The air between them thickened, full of unsaid words, emotions coiled like springboards poised to snap. As they stepped into an alcove, away from prying eyes, she could feel her heart racing, mirroring the pulse of art throbbing in the gallery around them. "What do you want to say, Jason?" The words escaped her lips, sharp and precise. He hesitated, his eyes darting to the floor, and she caught a glimpse of familiar guilt plastered across his expression. Would this reveal be her victory, or would it unearth more pain? And so, as uncertainty hung heavily in the air, the next chapter of her life loomed before them. Did they have the strength to confront their shattered dreams, or would unspoken wounds continue to fester, redefining their futures yet again? The air was thick with unspoken words as Emily waited for Jason to gather his thoughts. With every second that ticked by, she felt the weight of expectation press deeper into her chest. Suddenly, the gallery buzz, that once pleasant hum, felt unbearably distant, like a world meant for someone else. Here, in this alcove, she was stripped bare, vulnerable, while the colors of her paintings flickered in her mind like fragments of a dream. "Emily," Jason finally began, his voice low and steady, "I'm really sorry for being late. I've been overwhelmed. Work has been..."
he trailed off, his fingers fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. Ignoring the depth of her frustration, she forced her own heart to steady. His overwhelm could no longer be an excuse. "Jason," she interrupted, the strength that had emerged through her work now rippling through her veins. "I need you to be honest with me about everything. The absence, the silence. I'm not just another task on your to-do list." The gaping silence that followed seemed to stretch into eternity. His gaze flitted about, avoiding her, as though the truth was lurking in every shadow. Emily could feel the tension coiling tightly between them, a frame ready to snap. But instead of retreating back into her insecurities, she stood firm. She had fought
long and hard to express her emotions, and this was no time to waver. "Do you even see me?" she pressed further, her voice almost a whisper. The question hung in the air, heavy and laden with hurt. Finally, Jason's eyes met hers, fierce yet apologetic. "I do. I didn't understand how much you needed my support until tonight. I got caught up in my own issues, and I failed to see you shining." His admission lightened the air, but only slightly. The truth of his neglect, the gulf that had grown over time, still loomed. Emily felt the urge to let an avalanche of emotions pour out, the disappointment, the hurt, and the longing for connection, but she had learned to shape her pain into art now. She wasn't here to drown in sorrow, but rather to evolve. "Can you promise me something?" she asked, locking eyes with him. "Can you promise that you'll start being present, not just for me, but for yourself too?" He nodded, his brow furrowed, as if considering the weight of the commitment. "I want to. I just didn't know how." "Then let's start here," Emily urged. "I'm moving forward with my work. I want to go deeper, to be more honest, and I want you with me on this journey, not as my critic, but as my partner." Jason's expression shifted, a flicker of understanding igniting in his eyes. It was as if a piece of him emerged from the shadows, encouraging innovation rather than critiquing it. "Together?" he echoed quietly, uncertainty mingling with newfound hope. "Yes, together," she affirmed, feeling a wave of strength wash over her. But buried beneath the surface of her exhilaration was an awareness of the underlying work that still laid ahead. In her heart, a newfound purpose thrummed. This wasn't just about Jason, it was about her rebirth as an artist. She had created art from pain, and now perhaps she could also create a life from a different palette, one filled with joy and honesty rather than fear and distance. As they stood there, she envisioned her next steps: bold exhibitions, collaborations, a deeper exploration of her craft. The conversation with Jason had opened the floodgates to possibilities. But just as she felt a sense of clarity, a haunting thought struck her. Would Jason truly remain present amidst her blossoming art, or would his promises dissolve like paint on an unprepared canvas? That question lingered as another wave of guests surged into the gallery, reminding her that she was not just Emily, the wife carrying burdens, but Emily, the artist on the cusp of transformation. She stepped back, allowing Jason to process, while in the back of her mind, a vision formed. A solo exhibition, the culmination of her pain interlaced with newfound strength. But in the midst of this newfound desire, a chilling realization began to creep in. Could her artistic evolution mean stepping into the unknown alone? Would Jason actually embrace this journey, or was he still trapped in the shadows of hesitation? The battle for her future hinged upon the choice she had just laid at their feet. The time had come to face the depth of her convictions and the integrity of their partnership. Would they seize this moment together, or would they find themselves at odds as she painted her future, one vivid brushstroke at a time? Emily took a deep breath, preparing herself for the weight of the answer, aware that the dialogue had only begun. Her world was shifting, and clarity was within reach, yet uncertainty still lurked in the wings.
With a heart full of resolve, she moved toward the crowd, knowing that the real challenge was yet to come, and she was ready to confront whatever lay ahead. Emily's mind raced as she stepped away from Jason and the conversation that clung to the air like the remnants of a fading echo. She plunged back into the crowd, the vibrant cacophony of laughter and chatter, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within her. Every brushstroke, every blended hue of her paintings circled through her thoughts. They were supposed to be reflections of her growth, yet instead she felt as if she were spiraling in a whirlwind of questions. Determined not to let doubt seep into her artistry, she moved purposefully through the thrumming gallery. Suddenly, the need for clarity grew sharp, a desire to articulate her pain not just through words but with her very hands. The thought ignited a flame of inspiration. She wanted to create, to express the conflicts lodged in her heart. This was not merely about Jason. It was about cementing her voice, her identity, beyond the role of a partner. As she picked up a brush at her studio the next day, she could almost feel the tension dissipate with every stroke across the canvas. With a deep breath, she began to transform her feelings into something tangible. The colors melded, bursts of crimson for anger, deep blues for sorrow, vibrant yellows that spoke to her hope for change. It was cathartic, grueling, and illuminating. She suddenly recognized that with every layer she applied, she was reclaiming herself, not just as an artist, but as a woman who held the pen to her own narrative. The hours slipped by, consumed by the rhythmic motion of her hands working through her emotional landscape, until she stumbled upon an idea that made her heart race with excitement, a solo exhibition showcasing not only her technical prowess, but also her personal journey through chaos and renewal. But optimism was shadowed by uncertainty. Could she balance this new trajectory with potential disruptions in her relationship? The thought weighed heavily, yet her resolve hardened. No longer could she afford to wait for Jason to step into the light with her. She had to forge ahead, carving her own path. As if responding to her silent declaration, her fast-paced brushstrokes slowed, smoothing to paint the first strokes of a title on
Rebirth. Once the vision of her exhibition began to take form, she sought out conversations with local gallery owners and art communities, her heart pounding with each outreach. Every interaction filled her with both dread and exhilaration. Her internal critic raged at the implication that she was moving forward without the comfort of Jason at her side. Yet beneath that fear was a burgeoning belief in her capabilities. This was about more than just art. It was about her reclaiming her destiny. Weeks passed, with Emily dedicating herself to her preparation, mentoring sessions, feedback from trusted peers, honing her craft into something sharp and consequential. Each step fortified her sense of agency, manifesting a renewed determination that softened the frayed edges of her relationship with Jason. As she poured herself into this project, she wondered how he would react to this shift. Would he feel sidelined, or would he find inspiration in her relentless drive? The day of the exhibition crept closer, and a new form of anxiety settled in. Would Jason embrace her new autonomy, or would he continue to retreat into the background? Then came the moment that struck her with a jolt, a text from Jason simply asking how her art was progressing. For a heartbeat, she considered how she would respond, weighing her disclosures as if they held the fate of their relationship in the balance. Should she invite him into this experience, or keep it as a symbol of her independence? This was a test of their partnership, the perfect blend of vulnerability and strength, pushing her to confront the essence of what they could mean to each other amid change. As her fingers hovered over the screen, she realized this moment echoed their previous conversation. It was calling for honesty, right here, right now, at the intersection of art and personal growth. With a trembling resolve, Emily decided to respond, hoping to invite Jason into this evolving world, but prepared for whatever truth that revelation might unveil. She tapped out a few words, reflecting her excitement and trepidation, her heart racing as she pressed send. The truth was cascading toward her, regardless of the outcome, shifting her world once more. Yet, just as she steadied herself, her phone chimed with an incoming message from an unknown number.
Curiosity mingled with anxiety as she opened it, realizing this was only the beginning of an unforeseen twist in her journey. The message contained a photograph that would change everything. Emily's heart raced as she stared at the unknown number flashing on her screen. The photograph was grainy, almost like a distant memory caught in an unflattering light. Swallowing the knot in her throat, she leaned closer, her breath hitching as she recognized the faces in the image. Jason's familiar smile was plastered across his face, but the woman next to him was unknown, her bright laughter crystal clear even through the faded pixels. Emotions surged within her: betrayal, anger, confusion. She felt her hands start to tremble, but quickly steadied herself, unwilling to let this moment shatter the foundation she had been building for herself. Instead of crumbling, a new resolve ignited in her core. This was not just about Jason anymore. It was about claiming her power, her worth, and recognizing her own value, independently of anyone else's actions. With each moment she spent absorbing the snapshot of their smiles radiating together, clarity began to emerge. She no longer wanted to dwell in shadows or let her identity be defined by her relationship status. Jason had unknowingly handed her an invitation to pivot, to reassess what her own happiness meant. The exhibition, her exhibition, swam back into focus amidst the chaos. She would create something vibrant and true to her discovery, one that celebrated her authenticity instead of the doubts that had felt so suffocating. Without further delay, she turned away from the digital betrayal and marched toward her easel. The brush in her hand felt like a sword as she dipped it into a violent red, the color spilling onto the canvas like blood shed in battle. Each stroke of anger became a declaration of independence. Each splash of paint sang a melody of resilience. As the layers thickened, she infused her fears, her pain, her power, channeling every drop of emotion directly onto the canvas. The act of creation morphed into a ritual, a way of cleansing herself from the lingering hold of the past. The deeper she painted, the more she uncovered layers of strength she never knew existed. Her hands deftly sculpted shadows and light, merging into images that began to tell her story, a story of vulnerability transforming into empowerment. Rebirth would not just be an exhibition, it would be a stripped-down reflection of her heart's journey toward freedom. As she worked tirelessly, she began to draw on the support of her mentors, sharing her reimagined vision with renewed fervor. Every critique became a stepping stone, and with each piece she finished, the excitement of unveiling her inner transformation filled her chest. Hours turned into days, and as the opening of her exhibition loomed on the horizon, Emily faced another hurdle: the decision regarding Jason. Should she confront him? Would she allow him into her life again to witness her growth, or was it wiser to keep those doors sealed? As the sunlight faded, she contemplated this dilemma. The risk lay not just in opening the door to Jason, but in risking her newfound independence for lingering shadows of companionship that had formed a fragile cocoon around her. With resolve, she decided to stand firm in her experience, to embrace the woman she was becoming rather than retreat into the safe familiarity of the past. Finally, she crafted a text to Jason, not in anger, but in resolute clarity. She felt no need to provide him with explanations or excuses. It was time for her to voice the truth, both about her feelings and the changes she was making. As she sent the text, a sense of liberation washed over her, coupled with the anxiety of potential backlash. But even beneath that anxiety was the thrill of a new beginning, a step toward further mastery of her narrative. And then, as the night enveloped her studio in quiet darkness, her phone buzzed again, this time with a message from Jason. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily as she braced herself to read his response and face whatever revelations awaited her. The repercussions of her decisions hung in the balance, their potential unfolding before her like an untamed canvas waiting for the next brushstroke. Emily's heart raced as she sat frozen in her chair, staring at the screen. Jason's message lingered like a specter, tempting her into the shadows of their past. It read, "Can we talk? I need you to understand." But understand what? The betrayal? The fractures in trust? She took a deep breath, reminding herself of the fiery red strokes painted on her canvas just hours before. She had poured herself into her art, transforming her fury into colors that screamed liberation. Was she really willing to gamble that newfound strength on a conversation with him? Set against the starkness of her studio walls, the vibrant chaos of her paintings seemed to taunt her indecision. Each piece embodied her evolution, a collage of emotions stitched together over days and nights filled with relentless creation. Facing Jason might threaten the vibrant tapestry she had woven, but part of her felt an irrational pull to hear him out. Hadn't she just declared her independence? She grabbed her phone and began to type, her fingers hesitating before hitting send. "I'm not sure what there is to discuss. I'm moving in a different direction," she typed and deleted repeatedly, each attempt solidifying her resolve. But then something inside twisted. What if this was a chance not to reconcile, but to reclaim her voice? The thought pinged with weighty possibilities. Perhaps confronting him head-on might unveil deeper truths, even if they came disguised in his explanations. The realization hit. This was more than just a conversation. It was an opportunity to further define her resilience. Finally, she pressed send and was met with an echoing silence, her heart thundering at the decision. Determination surged as she broke away from her studio. She felt a desperate need for distraction from the apprehension swinging heavily in her chest. The city was beckoning, alive under a wash of golden streetlights, an untamed world flickering like her unrestrained canvases. Wandering through the crowd, she observed people flowing like rivers, vibrant and full of life. A street musician strummed a guitar, letting notes tumble into the air like forgotten dreams searching for revival. She stopped momentarily, captivated, before an idea crystallized in her mind. Art was not limited to the confinements of her studio. It thrived in the openness of the world. Perhaps this could be part of her exhibition, live performances capturing raw emotions that resonated with her journey. It would be a dynamic living piece, as chaotic and beautiful
as her process had been. The wheels in her mind began to turn. She would use this opportunity to invite local musicians, dancers, even spoken word artists to collaborate. The street would become an extension of her canvas, each artist echoing the essence of rebirth. The thought ignited within her, sending tendrils of adrenaline soaring through her veins. Returning home, she grabbed her sketch pad and began plotting out her vision, lines dancing feverishly across the pages. Each stroke reflected the essence of community she had previously shunned, not as dependence, but as a shared experience of resilience and artistry, a celebration of overcoming struggles. As she worked, the lingering fear of Jason's arrival weighed heavily, but now it felt lighter. She wasn't just waiting for a response. She was preparing to plant seeds of inspiration everywhere. By investing in her community, she would fortify her own growth. The buzz of her phone interrupted her thoughts again. Another message from Jason. Taking a deep breath, she hesitated for a moment before reading it, the weight of her past hanging in the balance. What lay behind the words could break or redefine her, but she had come too far to retreat now. She clicked open the message, her heart pounding as she braced herself for whatever truth might emerge, ready to confront more than just him, ready to confront herself. Would this moment bend her reality once again? The moment of truth arrived. Emily's breath caught as she read Jason's message, the words unfurling like a dark cloud overhead. "I didn't mean to hurt you. Please let me explain." Each syllable dripped with desperation, awakening memories she wished to remain dormant. She couldn't deny that a part of her still harbored the desire to understand the man she'd once loved. Another part, stronger now, screamed to reject him entirely. Her fingers hovered over the screen, indecision igniting a storm inside her. Did he really deserve her attention after the chaos he had caused in her life? The vibrant colors on her canvases blazed in her mind, reminders that she had fought hard to reclaim her identity,
envisioned her purpose anew without his shadow looming over her. "Why do I care?" she muttered to herself, pacing her small apartment, the once inviting walls now feeling constricting. The paintings surrounding her whispered encouragement, each brushstroke a testament to her burgeoning strength. Yet there was another voice, a flicker of curiosity tempered with trepidation. What lay beneath Jason's plea? Was it genuine remorse or merely regret for losing her? As thoughts grappled in her mind, she made a choice. Rather than letting her anger twist into defensiveness, she would meet him armed with clarity and resolve. Typing her response, she found submission could wear many masks. "I'm willing to meet, but this time I need to hear the truth." With that message sent, her heart raced, a complex cocktail of defiance and vulnerability surging through her. The next day unfolded slowly, tension winding around her as she prepared for the confrontation.
Confrontation. She considered the exhibition idea she'd sketched out feverishly the night before. The vision felt like a lifeline. The act of creation transformed into self-empowerment. The bright idea of live performances coursed with a thrill she hadn't anticipated. Engaging with others could anchor her, grounding her in a way that simply hearing from Jason would not. As she chose her outfit, Emily carefully selected hues that embodied strength, deep blues and bold blacks. She wanted to reflect the burgeoning resilience coursing through her, the part of her that was ready to take whatever Jason threw her way. This was not a moment to shy away. It was a battleground where she would reclaim her dignity. Before stepping out, determination etched her features. She rehearsed what she might say over and over, anticipating his arguments, the justifications he might offer. This wasn't merely about him. It was about her journey, one she wouldn't allow to be tainted by a past that no longer served her. The cafe buzzed with chatter, artists, writers, and thinkers mingling over shared espresso shots and laughter. Emily entered, the scent awakening creativity within her and providing the rush she needed. She spotted Jason at a small table awaiting her. His body language screamed unease, yet his eyes searched for a flicker of hope. "Emily," he began, an imploring tone in his voice catching her off guard. Taking her seat, she met his gaze, unyielding. "Let's cut to the chase. What do you need me to understand?" In those moments, Emily prepared herself to peel back layers of his explanation, steeling her heart against whatever truths he offered. She focused instead on the collective energy flowing around them, the pulsating rhythm of artists living their truths, meshing their voices into an abstract form of art. Perhaps her exhibition had merit beyond her initial understanding. It could manifest not just her journey, but a testament to others' experiences, as raw and transformative as her own. Awakening inner resolve, she leaned forward. "I'm listening," she said, but deeper was an echo forming in her mind, a defiance buoyed by the anticipation of discovery, ready to confront what once shattered her. And as Jason began to speak, Emily felt herself at a critical junction, knowing that whatever his truth was, her own would be forged stronger in its wake. Would her need for clarity affirm her autonomy or draw her back into the maw of the past? The answer loomed tantalizingly close. Jason's voice, hesitant yet resonant, began to outline the intentions behind his words. Emily's grip on her coffee cup tightened as she processed his admission, an admission cloaked in the shame and regret that wrapped around him like a shroud. Yet, beneath that facade, she sensed a voice within her rising, demanding to be heard as much as his confessions demanded her attention. "I need you to understand," he urged, his eyes glistening with a mixture of remorse and something she couldn't quite decipher. "I didn't appreciate you. I was selfish. Everything you stood felt overwhelming. I thought I could handle it, but I didn't know how to support you without losing myself." Emily scoffed internally. It felt like a paltry excuse for what had become an emotional car crash. Yet, as he spoke, his vulnerability pricked her curiosity. Was there a thread of truth buried in his confession? "Selfishness is a choice, Jason," she interjected, her voice steady, a reflection of the strength she had cultivated in his absence. "You can't claim victimhood when you hurt someone else. I wish you had been forthright before everything spiraled."
His face paled, and Emily noticed the shift in energy between them. In that moment, the cafe around them blurred into insignificance. The laughter and chatter faded, replaced by the singular sound of their heartbeat, something pulsing between them that felt disturbingly familiar. "But I'm here now, Emily. I want to prove I'm different," he insisted, yet something in his tone flickered like a false dawn. Did he genuinely believe words alone would bridge the cavern that had opened between them? Emily's thoughts raced. She recalled the countless nights spent drowning in self-doubt while he roamed freely in a different realm. The art she created during those times had been her only companion, coaxing her into healing and ultimately pushing her towards the path she now tread. "Prove it then," she said, the challenge palpable in the atmosphere. Unconsciously, she leaned closer, intrigued but resolute. "How are you prepared to do that?" "Honestly." He hesitated, a wave of uncertainty washing over him. Watching him struggle unveiled an irony. He had a chance to guilt her into submission, but instead he teetered like a skittish animal caught in the open. "I thought I could change," he whispered, and at that moment, the layers of her apprehension peeled back as she contemplated the intersection of their journeys. Was she willing to risk her hard-fought progress to engage with his past? Her heartbeat quickened, not from fear, but from a new realization flooding her system. The notion of his transformation and her quest for authenticity mingled like colors on a palette, creating possibilities she hadn't yet explored. Perhaps the universe was offering her another lesson, not merely about Jason, but also about herself. "I'm not sure if you can," she admitted softly, taking a deep breath to steady her rising fervor. "But I can. I've learned how to be accountable for my actions, and that has made me stronger." Seeing him wrestle with his emotions, Emily felt a swell of both compassion and resolve. It became evident to her that this encounter was more than just a conversation. It had morphed into a crucible, determining her future steps. Would she allow herself to delve deeper to understand his intentions, or risk closing herself off entirely? The warmth of determination enveloped her as she spoke, a looming idea forming. "Perhaps instead of understanding what you want me to know, we need to figure out what we both want moving forward. If there's to be trust, it begins here, with honesty." As their discussion veered into uncharted territory, Emily recognized her own voice was no longer a whisper drowned out by his. She was evolving in real time, a co-creator of a vibrant life she had long envisioned, asking herself what that meant to her now. And as the last dregs of coffee slid down the sides of her cup, an electrifying thought jolted her. Would they both emerge transformed from the wreckage of their past? Or would one of them cling to the remnants, resisting the change that beckoned? The weight of that question loomed heavily, even as they continued to speak, each moment a crucial point in their intertwined narratives. Would they forge a new path together, or was this a necessary farewell to a chapter long closed? In a world of vibrant colors, would she be able to weave new patterns, or find herself ensnared in old threads again? Emily's resolve began to crystallize as she sat across from Jason, each word he uttered weaving a tapestry of tension between them. Questions churned in her mind, each more pressing than the last. She had stepped into this conversation seeking closure, but now the horizon of possibilities stretched before her. Could this be a moment of growth, not just for him, but for her as well? The cafe's ambiance felt almost electric, the distant sounds of baristas and customers blending into an encompassing hum that became the backdrop to their reckoning. Yet amidst the noise, Emily found clarity. This was not merely a dialogue about Jason's past. It was a chance to assess her own trajectory. "Do you understand what accountability truly means?" she challenged, leaning forward. "It's not just about admitting mistakes. It's about actionable change, consistent effort." His brow furrowed, framed by the shadows of guilt and uncertainty. "I know that. I've started working on myself. I really have." Her skepticism stirred, battling the small flicker of hope ignited by his words. Working on yourself or hiding from your actions? They're two very different journeys, Jason. He flinched, guilt etched across his features. This was her moment, the momentum driving her forward, fueled by the self-discovery she had fought so hard to achieve. She realized it was essential to protect that newfound strength. "Let me ask you something," she said, grounding her tone while maintaining the intensity in her gaze. "Are you prepared to face the consequences of your actions instead of glossing over them with promises? It's time to stop pushing the weight of your choices on me." The air thickened with tension as Jason grappled with her demand. An array of emotions flickered across his face, surprise morphing into a hesitant understanding. There was a sliver of recognition there, and for the first time, she wondered if he was genuinely grasping how his behavior had impacted her. She continued, "If what you're saying is true, then it can't just be about us. It's about how you've neglected yourself and your own."
Growth. You can't lead someone else to a better place if you haven't figured out how to reach it yourself. His eyes softened, vulnerability surfacing in small, measured doses. Perhaps he was beginning to see her perspective, but there remained a lingering question in her heart. Was she merely offering him a lifeline, or was she settling for a concession from the past? As the cafe's chatter settled into a muted backdrop, Emily understood that this was bigger than them. This conversation demanded she dig deeper, confront her feelings, and lay bare the walls she had so carefully constructed. Meeting here, confronting what's happened, it's just a first step, Jason. What we decide moving forward could either reinforce the foundations of trust or shatter them completely. I don't want to rebuild something that was never solid to begin with. The determination in her voice summoned new strength, and with it came a clear vision of who she wanted to be, someone defined not by her past, but by her resolve to shape her future. Jason nodded slowly, an acknowledgement of both her challenge and his necessity to rethink his own path. The weight of the conversation hung heavy, yet it was liberating. A thought suddenly flickered in Emily's mind, a realization of the power of choice, the ability to decide how much of her heart she would risk exposing. She felt the walls of doubt begin to crumble, and with their collapse came the thrill of possibility. Perhaps it was time for her to step beyond the confines of this cafe, to take her newfound realization and test her own limits, exploring whether he could step up as well. But as she wrestled with the potential of reshaping their bond, a new concern crept in, tugging at her resolve. What if reforming their relationship meant reshaping her own identity completely? Was she ready for such a transformation, or was it her heart telling her to tread lightly? The delicate line between hope and hesitation loomed large in her thoughts. How deep would she dive into this unexpected opportunity for connection, for growth, for healing, before drawing the boundary she so desperately needed? And in that murky terrain of emotional uncertainty, one question made its presence known. What was she willing to sacrifice for the possibility of something new? And could it be worth the risk of losing the hardest won parts of herself? Emily's determination crystallized in the cafe, each breath a steady rhythm against the backdrop of her thoughts. She leaned forward, her resolve strengthened, ready to reclaim the narrative of her life as the possibility of renewal unfolded. You claim to want to prove your commitment, but talk is meaningless without action, she stated firmly, glancing into Jason's eyes. The conversation demanded clarity, and she was no longer afraid to define her boundaries. If there was to be a chance, both required to navigate this transformation. Jason nodded slowly, the weight of her words settling in. I get that now. I see.
You, Emily. I want to be part of your life again, but I understand what it means to step up. The tremor in his voice hinted at sincerity, but Emily needed more than mere intentions. She needed change. Let's not just talk. Let's create something that represents our growth together. If we're to have a future, she said, her heart heavy with commitment, we both need to reflect our actions in the world, not just between us. Let's start from honesty. He looked thoughtful, and for the first time, she felt a chink in his defenses. What do you mean? Art has become my refuge, she said, embodying the passion that pulsed through her. I'm planning a solo exhibition named Rebirth. It will be a manifestation of my journey, but I would like you to join as a collaborator, to contribute and reflect on our experiences through a shared piece. But it has to be real, raw truths woven into the artwork. The proposal hung between them, daring him to embrace vulnerability. The thoughts of doubt taught her to tread carefully, yet there was power in this suggestion, an opportunity to bridge the gap and build anew. He was silent for a moment, digesting her vision. "I'd like that," he whispered, his voice heavy with emotion. "I want to be part of something genuine, something that acknowledges the shadows I've cast." The moment felt electric, a palpable shift brushing against the fabric of their connection. She sank into his words, sensing the seriousness behind this mutual endeavor. Perhaps this could be the beginning of rebuilding what had been lost, a venture based not on the past's ghosts, but on shared growth and creativity. "I'll hold you to that," she replied with a soft smile. It was as if a small flame ignited between them, lighting a path toward an uncharted future. With each planning session, Emily could feel the pieces of her world clicking into place. Together, they gathered inspirations, textures, colors, and concepts that defined their personal journeys. They pored over sketches, actively discussing their artistic interpretations, daring to expose the vulnerabilities that had once drawn them apart. Days turned into weeks as they delved into an intimate exploration of emotions, a cathartic collaboration stitching together their previous pain into fresh symbols of hope and aspiration. The art produced through this union was electrifying, a vivid dialogue emerging directly from their experiences, nuances captured in every brushstroke. Emily began to feel a profound sense of purpose growing through her artistry, an intention pulsating beneath each piece that connected them. Not as a couple in turmoil, but as two individuals redefining their roles in each other's lives. And on the day of the exhibition, she stood before the vibrant canvases, a multifaceted story that encapsulated their shared journey, complex, poignant, yet affirming of their resilience. In this showcase of artistic prowess, visions of their struggles unfolded, revealing layers marked by betrayal, but also illuminated by rebirth. It was exhilarating. As Emily introduced the collaborative pieces, the energy in the room surged. Guests moved through the gallery, many inspired by the rawness of the works. Little by little, validation washed over her, a testament to how far she had come, an acknowledgement of her fortitude during tumultuous times. Jason remained by her side, an active participant in this journey, expressing gratitude for both their growth and the newfound space of honesty that transformed their past into a mantra of potential. "Look at what we've created," he remarked, emotion thick in his voice as they observed visitors admiring their work. "This was born from the mess we found ourselves in, yet it's beautiful." "No longer are we defined by that mess," she replied, her heart swelling with pride, strength, and newfound security. They were exploring new territories together, this moment exuding proof of her evolution. Moving forward, they vowed to maintain the core lesson learned from this exhibit, that growth thrives best in the company of transparency. Their challenges had not vanished, but the mutual commitment to navigate them from a foundation of honesty brought a renewed sense of promise. Together, they embarked on this journey of rebuilding, grounded in a shared understanding. They were not simply recreating an old relationship, but crafting something anew. Art born from struggle, yet bathed in resilience, hope, and unyielding strength. Emily felt a sensation of deep fulfillment as she stood in the gallery, no longer bearing the remnants of past pains alone. She had conquered her story, proving to herself and the world that transformation is tangible, emerging magnificently from the fragments of one's existence. As she locked eyes with Jason, pride sparkling in her heart, she realized the greatest achievement wasn't merely the exhibition or their collaboration. It was the steadfast promise to continue growing together, a journey that would forever be shaped by the colors of their rebirth. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to witness more exclusive emotional stories of transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who could use some inspiration on their journey. And remember to leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know your reactions in the comments below. Your participation matters.